Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to CB Overland. My name's Blake. That's my wife, Chelsea. Those are our basset hounds, Charlie and Blue. We hit the road nearly 2 years ago because we had questions that needed answers. Pull up a chair. Join us around the campfire as we discuss the modifications we made to our 1998 Jeep Wrangler to suit our lifestyle. Let's get started. The Fox is a 1998 Jeep TJ. Wrangler Sport Edition originally with a 4-liter inline-6 engine, AX15 transmission, and a 231 transfer case. It's a great little rig for a starting platform. Awesome size, great package. It's a great rig to adventure out of just as a starting platform. But this one's chock full of stuff. That power plant's modified. 4 liters, got a Screamin' Demon distributor and ignition kit on it. And then also a center force, their high inertia flywheel. And backed up with their clutch as well. And then back on the transmission, we've got a modification, just a short throw shifter on there. Really help with the gear throw and speed shifting through stuff. It's great. And saved my shoulder throw from driving it all the time. I love that modification. That might be my favorite one.
Yeah, I think it saved your shoulder multiple times. Like, just not going like this, but just, it's nice and easy. It makes it so nice and smooth.
Oh, what else is on there?
Start that fire.
Slip yoke eliminator on the 231 transfer case. Then off from there, Adams driveline with their beefy drive shafts. Great job, guys. And then down to the front axle is a Dana 30, which is trussed with an Artec truss. Replaced everything on there. It was all new build. So ball joints, knuckles, rugged ridge steering, their crossover steering. Warren locking hubs. It's got a Dana 44 outer conversion kit. So we have locking hubs. We can unlock those on the highway. Helps with fuel economy and not burning up the whole front drive line too. It's not spinning that the whole time. If you break any parts, they're super helpful. We can just unlock them. When we seized up our front differential previously, we were able to unlock those hubs because we weren't spinning the whole internals. We could unlock them and still drive in 2-wheel drive. Saved our butt. With that, there's a little brake conversion that's done on there as well. Uses a CJ7 rotor you got to take it to a machinist and have them file a few things out. And then to the rear axle is a Dana 35, 456 gears in both axles. And in the rear is a Detroit locker, superior gear and axle shafts. A rear bolt-on truss. Yeah, it's been a strong thing. I really wanted to see how far I could push these axles, and outside of our epic mistake blowing up the front axle as it was dry, just seized, I've really been shocked. There's a lot of axle upgrades, and that's great, but these toothpick axles, they've got a lot of money into them. I mean, they're modified, but they run well. Been able to go everywhere we wanted to. Suspension. So suspension, it's not a kit. It's all kind of individual pieced together. Wanted some specific things and to be able to adjust and kind of plan for the future in it. So even on the short arm lift, they're double adjustable control arms from Steinjager. So we could dial in the pinion angle and axle placement so I could get proper clearance and stretch out the front as much as I could without running into a track bar and other things, and just be able to adjust that on the fly a lot easier when you can just spin the control arm freely and push it all back and forth. It's a lot easier to adjust. Those are upgraded with trail gears, rebuildable joints, and those have been really nice. Those softened up the ride big time and absorbed some of the shock coming in. We used Heim joints originally to set just the spacing, or to mock it all up, and that was a rough ride. So having the improved joints was a big deal.
Absolutely. We've had a lot of people ask us how the Fox has held up over time with all of our Overland gear on top. So can you go over like how the suspension has held up with all of the extra weight on top?
Yeah, there's some considerations in with the weight. So it's on Terraflex 4-inch springs, and those on the front, we've got a 1/2-inch spacer on top of the Terraflex springs, and in the rear there's a 1-inch spacer. So there's definitely a lot of weight on here, right? And the fulcrum of everything on the back with the spare tire and the trasheroo and all the weight just in the cargo area, it's definitely heavier. So I put that spacer in there to keep our ride height level and cruise along. It's definitely noticeable. I mean, we're a heavy rig, so I can't go flying through stuff when we're full weight, but the suspension components themselves have held up great. I haven't had any issues with anything like that. You just got to know when to go slow and to take your time.
And then when to hammer it down.
And sometimes you got to lay the hammer.
And build some of this fire back up.
Terraflex springs, Bilstein 5100 series shocks. That's been just something I go with. They're a great shock, great entry level, and they hold up. They hold up to the abuse. They don't get the shock fade, not blowing out seals. These have been on here for 50,000 miles now. Rubicon Express, track bars, panhard bar, front and rear. Rubicon Express adjustable sway bar links, quick disconnects. Those are cool because they have a little pin that you tap and install on the frame side, so you can tuck the sway bar up all the way out of the way, tuck it up into the fender well, and just secure it to that pin.
And they're super easy to use.
Oh, on the weight topic, that's we have a heavy-duty sway bar from Steinjager in the rear with their adjustable links, and that really helped out the on-road handling. Keeps it a little bit stiff off-road, but I'll take the stiffness over the sway and the bounce as we go over stuff. It was really pulling us. So
back sway bar made a huge difference.
No, I think that made a huge difference.
Yeah.
At the same time, we changed the joints and added the sway bar, and that was a huge difference. It's a nice, thick sway bar. And it comes with a new bushing kit. It was really nice. Keep us stable on the highways.
Yeah. I know a lot of people have asked what we did to the Fox to get back roadworthy after we broke down too. That was one major thing. When we first broke down, we didn't want to rebuild it and it just be the same and put that amount of money into it when we could spend just a little bit more and make the Fox into one more badass of a rig.
Yeah, it was a tough call. We had a set of tons and a small block power plant and a bunch of stuff.
We got all the parts ready.
But it's a plethora of reasons.
Ships being stuck at port, we couldn't get half the stuff that we needed to finish it.
Everything's so expensive, and a plethora of other reasons. We'll get into it at a later date. That had to get pushed to the side. But to get this back running, it just came down to parts availability and budget. And it just wasn't worth it to do it didn't make sense to do the big build right now. Crazy expensive. Yeah, but we did have to throw in new set of gears in the front, the Eaton E-locker, new transfer case, the rebuild on that.
And then Adam's drive shaft helped us out with the...
Yeah, with the new, because we did the slip yoke eliminator on this transfer case, and the previous one had a hack and tap, so we needed some modifications to our drive shaft. And Adams took care of us. They're fantastic. Got us a new drive line same day. It was awesome.
And all the way back to the rear gear set.
Yep, and then we blew up the at some point it stress cracked the rear pinion and
it was a disaster.
grenaded that rear end when the front seized. Yeah. So whole new gear set in the rears. Locker was all right. We were able to salvage the Detroit locker. That thing is going strong. The shafts look fine. So new gear set.
Absolutely.
But it exploded that whole driveline. That was a lot of work to get that back going.
It wasn't easy, and we definitely appreciate and thank every one of you who has helped us out along the way to get that thing back running again.
Yeah, big thank you.
So much.
Up next, lighting. The headlights in the TJ are awful. Yeah, so we went with an upgrade to ProComp's LED headlights. They were a nice throw and really nice headlights. Clear picture, not too blue. It was a really nice headlight. And we also went with ProComp's S4 floodlights on the ditch lights, so we can point those out and get an even wider field of view. Not really for forward throw on those, it's to point out what's to right and left of us. And they've done a great job. It's a flood pattern on those, on the B-pillar lights, or A-pillar lights, excuse me. And then we've got some ground lighting underneath that's just a no-name brand. It was gifted to me. I'm not even sure of the brand, but we wired that up and it's all RGB. So we can control that from a little controller that's in the glove box, and also from a switch that's on my keys, on my key fob. So I can throw some ground lights on when we're at camp at night, just leave a little ambiance around so we're not tripping over stuff. But if we're out wheeling at night, it's nice to light up underneath and be able to see what's going on too. And flip them to white for rock lights. Then our license plate light is actually right underneath the rear tool case on the back. And there's a white light for the license plate, but it does a great job of illuminating the whole back. And so when we're digging out and whatever, digging in our kitchen case or in the fridge or anything, just dealing with the dogs in the back, it's really efficient just to pop our marker lights on, and that illuminates the whole back for us too.
Yeah, it does a really great job.
And tail lights are just a circle, whatever it is, 3-inch round truck light. Drill a hole in the body, pop them in, wire them up. All the LEDs though do require a little flasher. You have to change out that's underneath the driver's dash. You have to change that out, otherwise you get hyper flash, and that fixes all that. That's our turn signals as well, our LEDs, poison spider, and marker lights too. The body mods. I really wanted the front of the Jeep to have a classic look, that classic CJ look, and the flat fender Willys look. So the front fenders are a custom fender, and to give us a little bit of coverage too, some place to bolt some stuff, and something to prop us up should we lean into a rock or anything like that, and I can stand on them. Really sturdy steel fenders.
Nice flat surface too.
Flat surfaces are hard to come by, so that's nice. Yeah, those were an awesome addition, and it really gave the front of the Jeep the look I was going for. And the rear fenders are a metal cloak. They're the mod cut rear fenders, so you'd have to trim a little bit of the body away, but it gave great clearance. And then with the double adjustable control arms, I could push the axle back a little bit and get the full travel out of it. No clearance issues there with 35s. Those are awesome. We got the poison spider hood louver on there too, and we're crawling in the hot desert. Stuff overheats. We've had a pretty good time with that. Not a lot of overheating. So we've been lucky, but we do have that modification to just let the heat escape. And it looks cool. I like it. And we've got the best top half doors. We ripped the doors off after we flopped it in Utah. I turned the driver's door into a tostada. And
Tostada's a nice way to put it.
yeah. Looked like it should have been filled with some pork and pico. But after that, we ripped the top off. We like driving with it, just raw adventure. So off went the top, off went the doors. Went with the best top element half doors and the enclosures, just to enclose our knees and stuff from the wind and be able to keep stuff in the floor pan. Our rock sliders. Yeah, the rock sliders are from Rugged Ridge. Those were nice, body bolted, through bolted in the bottom if you choose. They've been awesome. Nice function little step and little protection for the side of the body. I also crunched that like a tostada when we were in Utah. So that's covering up a little body damage too. full disclosure. And the rear bumper was really nice. That was spendy, but it was worth it. The Poison Spider bumper and tire swing, with the bearings and the spindle, it runs really well, and it's got a stop too, so you can stop it out at 90 degrees. Doesn't matter if you're on a hill or any of that. Tire gate's not flying open, and a working door latch.
Yeah, the door latch of the Poison Spider is really nice.
Yeah.
It's just a pull up and then a swing. It's actually worked really well.
Our custom roof rack, that was cool. The roof rack's a little tribute to my brother. He was an Iraq War veteran, and he told me about the Rhino that was on the front of his M-Wrap. The big boom that pushed things out of the way, and that story just stuck with me. So the little spikes on the roof rack are a little tribute to my brother and his time over there. It was a custom built roof rack to get as much surface area as we could. It's about 6 foot long, I believe. And little custom control arms we welded up, thread-in bungs, and heim joints on it, so we could adjust it and get it dialed in right with the height of the roof that we need. If we want to swap out the cases or anything that are on the top for a rooftop tent, we can easily take it off and unhinge that and bring it up. Our propane tank, that one saved us big time as well. We were actually at Overland Expo, and we used to have these propane tanks on an Overland trailer, but we were using green cans. We hadn't bought one yet for the TJ, and nowhere in Flagstaff had green propane cans.
No one.
Nowhere. So that sucked. And this one lasts a lot longer, takes a lot less space, refillable, less waste, whole 9 yards. I'm all about it. So we found these guys. Banff is the mount that we ended up using. It was a smaller profile mount than anything from Power Tank or anything else I'd seen. And it's awesome. Little 5-pound propane tank. The Banff mount on there, Bay Area Metal Fab, I believe is their name. Yeah, the propane tank will last us 4 or 5 days.
But in reality, I mean, we spend weeks and months and full time living out of the Jeep. And so every little thing has its...
Everything is function over form.
Yeah.
Everything's got a purpose, if not two. A couple of cool functions like that are our doors. We're testing that out right now, and it worked great. I can take my half door off, and I hooked up a couple heim joints on the fender, flip it sideways, and add a little support pole. That's a great table. It was a great use of a flat surface. The shovel as well. Shovel's mounted right on the fender, because either you need a recovery or you gotta go. It's right there. Crazy Beaver shovel does a great job of it. And that's mounted right on the fender with quick fist mounts. I never had an issue with those either. There's always a little eerie about running those on the highway, but I've never had one of them come loose, and I just make sure that they're not getting deteriorated or anything like that. It's the rubber, and they've done a great job. We've got the Smitty-built cargo net on the back and the Smitty-built Safari top, just to give us a cover from the direct downpour. And we've got some stuff stored in between the top and the roof rack too. There's a recovery cable or recovery strap and a tarp that we use if weather gets inclement. We can tarp the whole Jeep, but that's stored in between the top and the roof rack, using every square inch. Front bumper is just a steel bumper. It was on it when I bought the rig, and it's worked. It pulled us out from being flopped in Utah, and yeah, it works. So it's still there. Same thing with the winch. It's a Warn M8000 winch, and it's worked every time I've needed it to. So tried and true. Nice job, Warn. So now all the accessories.
I mean, my favorite ones are the Bassets, but everyone can choose their own favorite.
Lots of accessories, I suppose. Lots of little things that make our life easier and functional. We were talking about the Crazy Beaver shovel on the front being kind of quick access mount. Everything's set up the same way. Our other accessories are a med kit right on the side. That's mounted on a quick release fire extinguisher mount, actually, by the roll cage. so that one can be popped off and taken to scene. That's got all the trauma kit supplies.
Yeah.
On the hood is a hood mounted from high lift jack. You can take it or leave them. They're useful in some situations and not in others, but it's a useful tool to have when you need it. Other accessories, the roto packs, water and fuel. Got 4 gallons of each. They've just been really durable cans, and the mounting system worked well for us on the cage.
Yeah.
Keep things out of the way, and yeah, attach it well. And they've held up 2 years of abuse and in the sunlight and stuff like that. Freezing temps, all of it.
Absolutely.
They've been good. And up top, the Rome cases. Those are roof cases from Rome Adventure Co. We had a bittersweet relationship with these cases. Have they done the job? Absolutely, they have. I made a couple of mistakes. I used straps on them in really hot weather, and we were running and they got loose. I just gave the strap an extra crank, and cases have never been the same since.
Yeah, they definitely deformed, and they pop open now, and they just don't latch the same way.
Yeah. So I think had I not done that, we might be all right on them. So I'm not going to talk too much trash about them. They have done the job well. The latches are a little bit of a pain, and they pop open now, so that's unfortunate.
But on one side of the Foot Locker are closed, and they have kept those completely dry.
Yes, so they've still served the purpose. They kept everything dry. The Foot Locker, and on the driver's side is our pantry and kitchen supplies. Yeah, fits a lot of food, and it being a molded case all the way around the perimeter, we store our extra dry food, Mountain House meals, freeze-dried stuff, things like that. And then in the center, there's just divided baskets with coffee and tea and spices and things like that. A lot of it was about organization. It looks like a lot of stuff, but it's just organization in the space that we have, so we utilized it.
It works best for us.
And on the rear case, yeah, you got to bring some tools along. So we've got a tire patch kit and some spare parts, spare U-joints, axe, just some of the assortment of tools that you need on the trail. And I try to keep everything in the Jeep. Let me rephrase that. I try to work on the Jeep out of only the tools that I carry in the Jeep. So that way, if I find out if there's another tool that I need, then I'm missing that out of the kit, that needs to be added to the kit. So a couple of specialty tools like the 4-prong wrench for our hubs.
Yeah.
I needed that if I need to change a hub on the fly.
Yeah, you used that all the way up in Colorado.
I did. I serviced the hubs on a ranch in the middle of Colorado. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, the water can. That's a pressurized weed sprayer. And that's awesome for dishes,
showers,
clean yourself up. High pressure, low volume. And that 1 gallon will last us a couple of weeks with what we use it for washing. It's been really efficient, and then you're not concerned with using your drinking water, just wasting it washing.
Yeah, we've saved a lot of water that way.
Yeah. And the trasharoo on the back, right now that carries our tent and some odds and ends things. That's been a good product. We've been through 3 of them, though. Not a very durable product, but useful.
Yeah, we're probably ready for our 4th right now.
Yeah, and this one's tearing through. But it's a useful product. And we use this stuff hard.
Yeah.
So, testing a lot of gear. What lasts and what needs replacement? What's our consumables?
The right line gear bags.
Yeah, on the side.
Have been a great extra storage throughout the whole TJ.
Yeah, they're a roll bar gear bag, and it's just kind of a tube, and they've been really, really durable. They've been flapping around the side of that, and nice to attach to the roll cage and keep everything dry. The zippers are really strong. Yeah, they held up great and keep everything dry. Keep a solar controller in one even, and I'm trusting that with electronics. They've been awesome. They've been holding up 2 years.
Yeah.
Over 2 years. Another accessory is our dog medical kit. That one's also mounted on a quick release fire extinguisher mount like our med kit, but if something happens to one of these pups, oh, heaven forbid.
Yeah. I mean,
But it's got some stuff so we can deal with their injuries specifically. I forgot to mention earlier, but the wheels and tires on it are Milestar Patagonia MTs. Fantastic tire in 35 by 1250 on 15-inch steel wheels. They're a 15 by 9 steel wheel on 5 on 5.5 lug pattern. This one's a little bit larger lug pattern. It's that CJ5 lug pattern to fit over the worn hubs on the front. But real basic, and banging them around, I don't have to worry. The 35-inch tire is a great match for the TJ too. Anything much more than that, you're getting really tippy on the short wheelbase. And specifically, these Milestars have held up awesome.
so good.
Yeah, I think we're about 40,000 miles in on these. And about due for a set, but what we put them through, I'll take it. For the price, for how quiet they are on the road, for how well they perform out here in the rocks or in the sand. I haven't had them a lot in the snow, but in all the other conditions, they're amazing. Taking the abuse, and knock on wood, I haven't punctured a tire or slit anything yet.
You know, I wouldn't say that, because last time you said that, you said, I haven't blown up this axle yet. And then literally 2 weeks later,
And right after
we
that, I blew
blow
up
up an axle.
Well, stay tuned. Let's see what happens. Hey. Yeah, let me move into the interior. The interior looks like there's a bunch of stuff going on. I guess there kind of is. But again, all mounted efficiently so that everything's in reach and works well for both our driver's seat and driver and co-driver positions. Ram mounts were really helpful.
Yeah.
These are ram mounts, band clamped right to the cage, and that let us mount stuff wherever we wanted to with the different length arms and just adjustability of all of it. Could mount that in there and still be able to move and be in reach with everything. And the ram mount X grip is phenomenal. My phone stayed in it when we flopped the Jeep in Utah. Everything else came in my face. My phone stayed firmly where I left it. So those, and the tablet mount as well in the center. And on to switches, it's a very basic vehicle. So not a lot for electronics, but to consolidate all those electronics, we use a ProComp 6-switch panel. So it's all solid state and internal wiring. So we've got these 6 switches. 2 of them are for our seat heaters, 1 for our electronic locker in the front axle, and 1 for our ditch lights. Yeah, 2 empty switches on there still right now. Really easy to wire in and plumb stuff up. That was a really nice, efficient switch panel. And again, the B&M short throw shifter looks nice in there, stainless.
It looks sexy. It really does.
And that's nice. It's quick.
Yeah. Smooth.
And a couple of Bartack seat covers too. Seats were in great shape when we got the Jeep. The Jeep only had 69,000 miles on it, so a lot of the interior and everything was just in great shape. Just to protect that and give us the molly webbing on there and a little more storage. The Bartack seat covers also held up really well. And a nice seat pocket in the back. Keep some air tools back there.
A pocket in the front that I can keep some things in the front as well.
Yep, more storage.
Yeah. Every little space counts in this TJ.
And more storage in molly bags too. Got an overhead console with molly bags and a molly bag on my driver's door that worked for wrapping it around the tubes. Nice multi-purpose use there. And some air down tools also mollied to the Bartack seat covers on my driver's seat.
One thing that really helps too is we have seat covers, or the one thing that really helps, well, I'm trying to say that we have butt warmers.
Oh, the seat heaters.
Seat heaters.
I mentioned that on the switch panel, but the seat heaters are great. That saved us. Actually, our heater core is bypassed right now. I have a hot rod heater I have to plumb in. But we've been trolling around for the last couple of months without any heat, and the seat heaters literally saved my butt.
Yeah.
Those are cool. And those were just a cheap Amazon purchase, I think, and they've been going strong.
Yeah.
And our charging stuff, we've got 12 volt charging, USB charging plumbed into the glove box and into the center console. This is a center console that was aftermarket, but I picked it up from somebody on Marketplace a number of years ago. But I plumbed in a couple of USB ports into that and one for our fridge in the rear. Also inside there is our Rugged Ridge intercoms with our headsets. That saved our hearing for all the highway driving. The raw adventure is fun, but it's loud on the highway.
Yeah.
And those headsets saved it. It was great. We were able to just talk at a normal volume, saved our voice, our hearing. It was really nice to have the intercoms. And in the back, we've got a custom deck that we built out of some scrap steel for the dogs. And that's bolted up to the harness bar and then to the rear of the cage.
There's a video of that, so if you'd like, you can link it below and you can watch the dog observation deck build.
And below that is our ARB fridge on an ARB slide. We just mounted through with some riv nuts into the floor. And the fridge is a lifesaver. Being able to keep fresh vegetables and meats and stuff isn't sloshing around in the cooler. And this fridge particularly, I have not taken care of it, but it's been running for well over a year now. And it runs strong.
Yeah.
It's been great. It had no issues. Yeah, phenomenal fridge. Saved our butts being able to have fresh food all the time. And then to power all that, there is also a dual battery wired up behind my seat. Another AGM battery, just so we have some longevity in our amp hours there. And then to charge all that, above is a hardcore solar folding panel. It's just tucked right above the top. Also with our privacy shelter that's tucked up there too. Then that we can just plug into a solar controller and charges both batteries.
But the batteries will also charge with the alternator as well.
Yes.
While we're driving.
Yep, the batteries are also charging off the alternator while we're driving. Keep everything juiced up when we're driving, or if we're sitting for a long period of time, then we can pop out the solar and just let it charge.
Yeah. That's a nice modification that you did.
Yeah, the dual batteries are really nice.
Yeah.
Then in the rear also is our just kitchen box. Just a Rubbermaid tote with our cast iron cookery and a couple of pots and a few bowls. Throw some canned goods in there and a cutting board. That's our kitchen contents.
Yeah.
On top of that is a ARB compressor in a sealed box with a tank. That's the dual compressor. That thing is so fast and reliable. Really enjoy having that thing. Got to get it hard mounted at some point though. Just haven't been able to keep it out of the elements. And just a Coleman cooker tucked on top of there.
Cook some mean-ass meals on there.
Yeah. And hooked up just a hose and right to the propane tank. Some flat surfaces. We use a tailgater table. Hook that up to the rear tire, and then our half door table, just with the prop on the front, gives us a lot of flat surface to work with. Set up the cooker and prep. And part of the interior also is a poison spider cage. That's in addition to the stock cage, and you can weld that in. It was already done when we purchased the Jeep. That was a big benefit on buying it. It was already a nice mild build when we bought it.
Yeah. Yeah, but the Jeep's been our home for quite some time.
Yeah, we've lived out of it. This has been home. 50,000 miles of it. And an interesting time to do it. We had the whole country to ourselves there for a while. It's So there's a lot of gear on here, but all of it we've made useful, and it's how we've lived out of it. Minimal resources, living full time on the road. Anything you'd like to add? What's your favorite thing?
Man, honestly, I probably think my favorite thing is the rugged radios, but that's just because I don't have to say what 5 times. I would say that's probably my favorite like accessory. Other than that, the fridge. I would highly recommend anybody to get a fridge, especially if you do more than like 2-day camping trips, just because the ice would have been a problem for us, and we've had a lot of fish turn to chum and a lot of meat be tenderized by the ice, and you don't want the meat to become soggy.
Bouncing around on a trail and it's pulverizing the fish. Oh,
So,
I was so sad.
Anybody that overlands or goes on trails with a cooler with ice, I'd like to talk. Like, how do you keep your stuff not turned into nastiness? I'd probably say those are my 2 favorite things. The rugged radios and the ARB. Oh, but see, like, everything is so useful and everything has its purpose that I couldn't imagine it not having that. But you really don't need much more.
Having to whittle things down in life to just the necessities, we have the efficient necessities.
Yeah. Absolutely. It might look like a lot, but when you're living out of it, there needs to be everything that you need. Multiple uses for multiple things.
And part of the necessary evil out of it is that we go a lot further. A lot of this isn't, we do stay in state parks from time to time again, but with how busy our lands have gotten and things like that, there's just a lot going on. So we've, with the build of this, we've been able to adventure a little further, go some more places, and that was incredible.
Yeah.
Just to be able to push it just that much further. And that's the evolution of the build. It just got a little bit bigger over time.
Just to go a little bit further.
Just to go a little further. It's worth it.
Absolutely. See that view right now?
Yeah. Introducing the Fox.
Introducing to you the Fox, a 1998 Jeep TJ Wrangler. CB Overland.
Tell the people! Ladies and gentlemen, now introducing to you a 1998 Jeep TJ Wrangler called the Fox.
That was so good.
Here, whoobies. Is that you, Blue?
Yeah. Chuck shivering.
All right. I think we got through everything on the Jeep.
Yeah, and
If I missed some stuff, oops, comment below. You got any questions? Let me know. Seriously, love to help you out.
Yeah.
We've done this a lot, and it's been cool to learn. It's a big learning curve for anybody who's new into this. Honestly, just go get it. Go get after it. Be careful.
I think he peed on me.
The dog peed on you, he was so cold?
Can that happen?
You were shivering so hard.
Ew, that's so gross.